Thank you, everyone. I'm Andy Boyd, and I have the trivial task of explaining Bitcoin in 5 minutes. So here goes. So I'll start by trying to introduce what is money, because well, when it comes on, any second. It's kind of a non-trivial question, really. People take money for granted. So I'm going to introduce these two characters, Elvis and Priscilla, who have their arms permanently stuck in the air and want to trade some stuff. So the two peasant farmers there who want to trade some sheep for some chickens. So this is what people are used to thinking of as the origin of money, but it's not actually true, because you can't really trade sheep for chickens. They're not the same thing, and half the time you don't need chickens when you want sheep, etc. So really, barter has never been particularly useful historically. And what actually happened was people would say, right, you can just have the sheep, and I'll just say, you owe me a sheep's worth of stuff. And that's how early money kind of evolved. It was credit, basically. So sometimes it was just literally things like seashells, and you just kept this ledger, and it worked because, you know, small tribes, it was a trustworthy environment. Everyone knew everyone, so everyone knew what everyone owed each other. So slightly different environment. This is where gold is used, like passing armies, for example, coming through your town. You're going to see these people one day, then they're going to march off the next. So you need something that works where you don't trust them. So that's where gold came in, because it has kind of an intrinsic value to it. Now, this is modern money now. Modern money really isn't that different to what seashells were. And it's basically just electrons in a bank account. It's just a ledger. The only reason it's useful or valuable is because you can pay debts or taxes with it. And we pay a price for this. Like, to actually make modern money work, we need to trust banks to, you know, stop people just replicating money. And arguably, we do pay a hefty social price for banks' misdemeanors, shall we call them. So now, onto Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, again, is just kind of a ledger system, but just think simply, substitute the bank, who is the trusted third party to carry things out, for cryptography, and more specifically, this ledger called the blockchain. The blockchain is really sort of the heart of Bitcoin. So it's an example of a trustless monetary system. So you don't have to trust anyone for this to work, mainly because you cannot edit the blockchain, you can only add to it. So it's a peer-to-peer thing in between different users who all keep this blockchain, and it's being continually secured by people called Bitcoin miners, you might have heard of. Now, mining's a weird word for it. It's nothing to do with digging up the ground or anything like that. What miners are actually doing is solving complex mathematical problems that can only really be solved through guesswork. But here's the clever bit about Bitcoin. The part of the answer to the problem for which you are rewarded Bitcoins is a record of all the previous transactions. So if you don't include all those transactions, the answer doesn't make sense. So, you know, you have to have a defined version of the past, if you like, a defined story of all the accounts. Otherwise, it sort of falls apart. And that's how miners secure it. So think of Bitcoin basically as an electronic form of cash. You cannot reverse the transactions. It can be used anonymously, although there's, you know, people like to say it is just scaremonger about it, but that's actually harder than it seems. And you keep it in a wallet, albeit a digital one. And it can be incredibly easy to use with the right software. So quite often, you know, paying a restaurant bill or something like that, it's as simple as just scanning a QR code on your phone. So here's another little analogy to try and sort of help visualize Bitcoin. So imagine a wall of lockers, all with glass fronts, so you can see what's inside them. So that's what the blockchain's like. Everyone can see what's in everyone's account, if you like, but they don't know whose it is. And yeah, anyone can put money in any of the accounts. So they've all got little post boxes here. So, you know, you can put more coins in any of them. But only you, if you own Bitcoin, know the code to open one of these lockers. And similarly, you don't really own the locker. All you know is how to open it. So you never really own a Bitcoin. You only own the right to spend it. Now, kind of the next phase for Bitcoin, you can do some incredible things with it, really. On top of the blockchain, using this technology, you can piggyback it to make sort of decentralized versions of eBay, of stock exchanges, or almost anything you like. It could create a whole new automated society, really. But yeah, that goes beyond the scope of this talk. But if you are completely and utterly confused, or if you're curious, then come join us at Does Liverpool on the 12th of January for a discussion of Bitcoin and other crypto phenomena. Okay. Thank you very much.
his money, said.